Welcome to everyone to a very quick RC-Junky tips and tricks, if you like. If you're running a Tamiya truck and you're a bit fed up of this annoying slop that you naturally have in all Tamiya vehicles, but especially in the trucks, where this kingpin here, I don't know if you can see this in the video, wobbles around actually in its mount, even though the pin is through. This actual kingpin wobbles in its plastic mount. There's a quick and easy way to fix this. What I've done with this one, as you can see, there is no wobble in this one. And what you need to do is, if you look at the plastic brace here, there's a plastic part here. There's actually a bracing just here and just here. But if you flip it over, there is room in this little area here. Let me just get my pointer to actually drill a hole. There's quite a lot of material there. Drill a little hole and tap a thread, at which point you can put in a very short M3 by 6 screw like I have here. And what that will do, that will actually lock that part into there. So I'm going to very quickly show you what I mean. So we take the part apart, so we end up with just this. And as you can, as I said, this part here has bracing on it, and this part does. Now you could do it either side. There is room here. It's quite a nice large flat area, excuse me, just here, and there is room here. Now I did this one on this part at this angle here because I actually was going to put a grub screw in, but I found out you can actually put a screw in. So all you need to do, this is a 2.7mm drill bit, and I'm going to be using an M3 tap. Sorry, M3 thread. A tap is for doing the opposite way. And all we need to do is, with a little bit of pressure, try and work it out so that if, when you finished, the angle of the screw goes in and clears the actual knobble part here. We just give that a little bit of pressure, give that a start. Once you start your hole, if you can see I'm slightly off center there, before you cut any further through, you've got the option to move it over slightly just by turning the drill at a slight angle. And again, we want to make sure that we go through an angle that we can get a screwdriver or a screw in afterwards. So you can see here I've straightened up that angle now. Doesn't take much, don't apply a lot of pressure, let the drill do the work. And we are through, there we go. You can see, there you go, we're right through to there. So we pull that out, we clean off the bit of plastic swath, we fit the actual thread, the M3 threader in here, there you go. So you can see now that we've drilled the hole, we're going to tap the thread. Now when tapping the thread, you don't need a lot of pressure, you just let the actual die do the work. You put the die in, you turn it half turn forward, quarter turn back, half turn forward, quarter turn back, half turn forward, quarter turn back. Now make sure that when you run the die in, that you run the die far enough in that it actually comes up to the actual full part of the thread, because the die is tapered, so the actual first part of the die is not a full thread. So just run that in there, give it some nice few turns just to give you a nice clean thread. Remove the die from the part. Now I'm just using an Allen key because it's got a nice square edge on it here, just to make sure the part is nice and clean and our thread is nicely tapped in there. Now next part is you put the actual kingpin part back in here using a screw or using the actual part that should be there. We're going to use the actual proper part that's over here, excuse the plastic bags. pop that in there. That just makes sure that the pin stays aligned. And I have an M3 by 6 screw, I believe this is here. You can use one of the ones that comes with a kit. And all we need to do is put it in the threaded hole and just let it find its own way into the actual thread itself. There you go. As you can see here, that's now found its own way. Just turn it until it stops and give it a little half nip. That now secures the pin neatly into the plastic part, and you can just remove this pin here and it gives you a nice clear view of that part there. And I have another one on my actual truck here that has the screw in it, and you can see with the screw in it, it doesn't impede or get in the way of the actual part turning on the actual brace. Now this is part of my rear steer conversion, but it's essentially the same as the front. Another option you could do if you really want the screw to get a little lower is, now that you actually put the actual screw into the hole, if you loosen it off slightly, remove the chrome part, you'll see there is a slight scratching. Hopefully you can see that just there. So you could, by all means, you could get a small file and just put a small flat on the actual round of the shaft there. That would allow the part to go in and lock in a bit further, but you don't really need the flat because the part is not going to turn because you have the pin through. So normally the flats would be to stop the part turning. We can just pop that in there. So just in and a little bit of a tight, and that's it. By all means, you could certainly use a very small M3 grub screw, ideally with a flat end on it like this one here, and I'll just pop that in very quickly. Just leave that in so that the part doesn't turn. We'll pop that out. So if you don't have grub screws, they are fairly cheap to buy. Most people have spare threaded screws, and so it doesn't need to be a hex drive, it could be an ordinary spare Phillips that comes with the kit. So you can see with the grub screw you do get a much neater finish, but it essentially works exactly the same. Pin slides through nicely and it's nice and tight. Hope you found that interesting and beneficial, and I'll catch you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.